It is the confirmation that has sent a shiver through the royal households, a stark realization that nothing lasts forever, and that this holiday season is shaping up to be the most poignant and perhaps the most heartbreaking in modern history. We have just received official confirmation that two key members of the extended royal family will not be at Sandringham this year. They are skipping the king's table. They are stepping back. And while the rumor mill went into overdrive thinking this was another Sussex snub or a new feud, the truth is far more grounded, far more dignified, and yet infinitely more sad. But that isn't the headline that is causing tears behind palace walls. The real story, the one that makes your chest tighten, is the report coming out of the king's inner circle. King Charles III, our monarch who has waited a lifetime to serve, is reportedly preparing for this Christmas to be his last. You heard me correctly. The whispers are turning into roars. The medical reality is setting in. And as the decorations go up and the turkeys are ordered, there is a wistful tone hanging over the House of Windsor. This isn't just a holiday. It is potentially a farewell. Welcome back to the channel, the only place where we look past the tinsel and tell you the cold, hard truth about the monarchy. We are witnessing the end of an era and the messy, complicated birth of a new one. If you support King Charles in his brave battle and want to see the monarchy survive the threats from within and without, smash that subscribe button right now. We have a lot to unpack, from the living Nostradamus predicting a major health event to the confirmed absences at the dinner table. Let's get into the story that is breaking hearts across the Commonwealth. Let's deal with the confirmed absences first, because the way this has been handled is a masterclass in how real royalty behaves, in stark contrast to the circus acts in Montecito. We have learned that two family members will not be celebrating Christmas with King Charles and Queen Camilla this year. Now, before the Sussex squad gets excited and thinks the family is falling apart, let's be clear. The two people skipping the festivities are Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, Queen Camilla's children. In an exclusive interview, Tom Parker Bowles revealed that he would be sitting out the fancy events at Sandringham this year. His reasoning? It's simple, it's normal, it's what actual families do. He said, "I'm not spending Christmas at Sandringham, nor is my sister." He explained that they like to switch it up by alternating years. 1 year on, 1 year off. This is fascinating for a few reasons. First, it shows the lack of entitlement. Tom and Laura are the children of the Queen of England. They could demand a seat at the table every single year. They could demand titles. They could demand security. But they don't. They respect the institution, and they respect that Christmas at Sandringham is a big production. It involves church services at Westminster Abbey or St. Mary Magdalene, gag gifts, and formal dinners. It is a state event as much as a family one. By stepping back this year, they are allowing the king and queen to have their space. Tom noted in previous interviews that he joined them in 2024 because his mother specifically requested it, saying she hadn't had Christmas with him for a long time. He admitted it has been a hell of a 2 years for Charles and Camilla. He spoke about the consciousness of mortality, saying, "The older you get, the more conscious you become of mortality, especially with illnesses and the rest of it." That phrase, conscious of mortality, is the key. Tom Parker Bowles is a man who sees his mother and stepfather not as icons, but as aging parents dealing with the brutal reality of cancer and duty. His decision to step back this year isn't a snub. It's a breath of fresh air. It allows the core royal family, the Waleses, the king, the queen, to tighten the circle. Contrast this with Prince Harry. Harry, who demands apologies before he will grace the UK with his presence. Harry, who needs a security detail that rivals the US president just to visit his father. Tom Parker Bowles just says, "It's my year off," and goes to have a quiet lunch with his kids. That is class. That is dignity. And that is why Camilla's children are silently respected by the public, while Charles's youngest son is publicly ridiculed. But Tom's absence takes on a darker significance when we look at the reports concerning the king's health. According to insiders speaking to Us Weekly, King Charles is approaching this holiday season with a heavy heart and a singular focus. He is preparing for this to be his final chance to celebrate the holiday as monarch. The report states explicitly that Charles wants a special last Christmas in case it's his last. Just let that sink in. The King of England, who waited 70 years to ascend the throne, is facing the very real possibility that his reign will be cut tragically short. But is he hiding? Is he feeling sorry for himself? Absolutely not. The source says that nothing would stop Charles from doing his duty. He will join the family on the annual Christmas walk. He will record his speech. He will host the dinner. He will do everything expected of him and more. This is the measure of the man. His health isn't the best. They are taking it day by day, but he refuses to let the public down. He refuses to let the side down. The source notes that while there is a wistful tone to the proceedings this year, it is also a time of celebration. Why? Because the Princess of Wales, our beloved Catherine, has received the all-clear. So you have this heartbreaking dichotomy. The king is fading, but the future queen is rising. Charles is looking at William and Kate and thinking, I have done my job, I have secured the succession, the future is safe. They all want to make the most of their time together. This Christmas isn't about presents, it's about memories. It's about Charles looking at Prince George, the future king, and passing on the unspoken wisdom of the crown. It makes the petty grievances of the Sussexes look so incredibly small, doesn't it? While Charles is facing his mortality with bravery, Harry is complaining about a lawsuit or a security review. The distance between the king's dignity and Harry's pettiness has never been wider. And now, things get even more unsettling. As if the medical reports weren't enough, we have a new set of predictions from the man dubbed the Living Nostradamus. Athos Salome, a Brazilian clairvoyant who has successfully predicted major global events, has turned his gaze toward the House of Windsor. Now, usually I dismiss these things, but this is the man who predicted the COVID-19 pandemic. He predicted the death of Queen Elizabeth II. He predicted Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. His track record is terrifyingly accurate. And what he sees coming for the royal family between late 2025 and early 2026 is nothing short of a seismic shock. Salome claims that a major event is on the horizon. He says that the karmic family thread will begin to unravel, triggered by, you guessed it, a major event within the royal family, possibly tied to the health of a key member. This aligns perfectly and terrifyingly with the reports about the king's condition. If the king's health takes a turn in early 2026, it fits the timeline exactly. But here is where the prediction gets complicated regarding the feud. Salome predicts that this major event will lead to a delicate ceasefire between the estranged Prince Harry and the rest of the royals. He suggests that the sheer magnitude of the crisis will force a pause in the hostilities. However, and this is the crucial part that the Sussex squad needs to hear, do not expect a happy ending. The psychic is very clear. Relations between Harry and Prince William will remain stony. He says the pair will stay distant. The damage is too deep. The betrayal is too raw. William, the protector of the crown, is not going to open his arms just because there is a crisis. He knows that Harry is a security risk. He knows that anything he says to Harry will end up in a paperback book or a Netflix documentary within 6 months. Salome says full reconciliation will come from the next generation. He predicts that it will be William and Kate's children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, rebuilding ties with Archie and Lilibet. But he adds a caveat. That's still years away. There's too much entangled karma, and this is not the time. I find this analysis fascinating. It suggests that the current generation, William and Harry, is broken beyond repair. The spare has burned the bridge so thoroughly that not even a family tragedy can rebuild it. William will likely be civil, but he will never be a brother again. The trust is gone. And frankly, why would George, Charlotte, and Louis want to rebuild ties with cousins they don't know? Cousins who live in California? Cousins whose parents spent years attacking their mother and father? It seems like a heavy burden to place on the next generation, but perhaps time heals all wounds. Or perhaps the Atlantic Ocean is just too wide. However, there is a glimmer of something resembling hope for King Charles specifically. The Living Nostradamus predicts that while William will remain a stone wall, the king might welcome his youngest son back into the fold in a very specific way. Salome told the Sun that the king would welcome Harry back through a moment that would be intimate and away from the cameras. He says the Duke of Sussex will regain public trust and repair royal relations after enduring a constant hurricane of family tensions. Now, I have to question this. Regain public trust? How? By doing what? Unless Harry publicly apologizes, burns the manuscript of Spare, and divorces the source of the toxicity, I don't see the British public trusting him ever again. But a father's love is a powerful thing. If Charles is indeed facing his last Christmas, if he is indeed looking at the end of the road, he may want to make peace with his boy. Not the Duke of Sussex, not the campaigner, but his darling boy. But notice the condition, away from the cameras. That is the only way it works. If Harry brings a camera crew, the deal is off. If Harry leaks the conversation to Gayle King, the deal is off. It requires discretion, a quality Harry has not possessed since 2016. There is also a bizarre potential meeting point on the horizon. The World Cup, the 2026 tournament, is in the U.S. The Sun reports that Prince William, Catherine, and their children are anticipated to attend England fixtures. At the same time, sources close to Harry indicate he is keen to catch matches as well. Imagine the scene: the future King and Queen of England in the royal box, representing the nation. And a few rows away, or perhaps in a corporate suite paid for by BetterUp, sits Prince Harry. The cameras will be going wild. It could be the showdown of the century. Or it could be the moment the world sees, visibly, just how far Harry has fallen from the center of power. If William attends as president of the FA, he is there on business. He is there as a statesman. Harry is there as a fan. The hierarchy will be visually enforced for the whole world to see. So as we head into this holiday season, the mood is heavy. We have Camilla's children stepping back out of respect. We have the king stepping up out of duty, despite the shadow of his own mortality. And we have the predictions of a psychic telling us that while a ceasefire might be coming, the war between the brothers is effectively over because William has won. The wistful tone of this Christmas is a reminder to all of us. Empires change, kings pass, but the institution endures because of people like Charles, people like William, and people like Catherine. They put the crown first. Harry may get his intimate moment with his father, and I hope for Charles's sake that he does. Every father deserves to say goodbye to his son in peace, but let's be clear, that is a private matter. It is not a return to royal duties. It is not a return to the balcony. The living Nostradamus might see a karmic unraveling, but the British people see a traitor who made his bed and must now lie in it, even as the lights go out at Sandringham. This Christmas, spare a thought for the king. He is fighting the good fight until the very last bell, and that is what makes him a true monarch. I want to know what you think. Do you believe the psychic's prediction that a major event in early 2026 will force a ceasefire? Do you think William is right to keep relations stony regardless of what happens? And will you be raising a glass to King Charles this Christmas, potentially his last as our sovereign? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. Don't forget to like this video to show your support for the king and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the truth. Until next time, keep your eyes on the palace.